Guys, Kevin here. So I'm here with Cody Gall. He's a YouTuber, and we are here talking about this protest of the Silent Sam removal dash Antifa counter protest. So, Cody, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm just out here basically because I'm concerned for my country. I'm concerned for my culture, and I don't know what to do other than try to go online and post stuff to share my views of the world, hoping that will help. And so that's what I am. I hesitate to call myself a YouTuber because I'm not like some pro or anything. I'm just some guy with a YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel is Nash Bo Jr. It's NASHBOJR. And then I've got my best friend. He kind of maintains a backup channel for me. That's Luke the Terrier. And then there's another channel that I'm affiliated with where I'm experimenting with the idea of being serious. That's Breakfast with Cody Gall. I know it's a lot to take in. That's 3 channels, but one's a joke, one's a backup, and one is an experiment with being serious.
So you do a lot of these Antifa protests.
Yes.
What's the worst thing that's happened? I mean, I saw today they were trying to silence you everywhere you went.
Well, the worst that ever happens here in North Carolina is petty crimes, political petty crimes. Like, for example, I don't know if you're gonna pick it up that well, but you can see
the laptop,
how cracked this
tablet's
is.
cracked, yeah.
That's because I was holding it filming one day, and one guy came up behind me on one side and kind of sucker punched me while the other guy knocked this out of my hand.
And why'd they do that?
Stuff like that is about as bad as they get here.
Why'd they try to sucker punch you? Just
because they want to silence me. And what you saw earlier was the same thing. They surround me with bullhorns. They yell and scream at me. They are escalating every time that I confront them. Every time it's getting a bit more crazy. But basically, they just are willing to engage in like petty crimes in order to silence me. And boy, there's something about me in particular that they really cannot stand me. And I don't entirely know why, but that's what I get from them is just bullying tactics.
Well, you're willing to confront them and debate them, and they don't like debate very much.
I would say I'm willing to confront them with their surface level, like you said, debate them, but I'm also willing to read between the lines and figure out what are they really trying to do and confront that. And so, like, for example, if you research me, there's a big controversy about me that I would love to address, because they claim I'm anti-Semitic because I, in their words, disrupted a Jewish prayer vigil. So what happened was the Pittsburgh mass shooting happened. And then I'm not going to say how exactly, but I was made aware that they were planning to destroy public property with this thing they called a Jewish prayer vigil, where they were going to get a bunch of people together and chant about how evil white people are with a big giant banner that said against fascism, and then they were going to march to a monument and destroy that monument. I showed up, I caused a big scene, I caught the cops to show up by causing a big scene and totally disrupted their plans. So who knows, maybe they were, maybe they weren't planning to destroy the public property, even though I know for a fact they were. I saw the screenshots with my own 2 eyes. But just think about what they did do. They had, at what they called a Jewish prayer vigil, a giant banner that said against fascism because of the Pittsburgh shooting. What fascism? That guy was just this crazy guy who got crazy conspiracy theories off the internet and went and did something crazy all on its own. How is that fascism? So that they would have a big giant banner that says against fascism. They'll even admit that fascism was directed at Donald Trump. So
right.
They were using the Pittsburgh shooting as a big giant political stunt to say Donald Trump is a Nazi.
And you never see them protest when there's an Islamic terror attack.
Imagine if we
like
had
that.
A prayer vigil for the victims of 9/11 with a big giant banner that said against Islam.
Or against communism.
Or against communism. That would be a political stunt using the victims as some sort of
Pawns, yeah.
pawn, you know, and that they would do that to the Pittsburgh mass shooting and then claim I am the bad guy because I disrupted it. That's the kind of crap I deal with here in Chapel Hill. But I'm like one of the only people who's willing to really get in their face and say, you know, screw you. How dare you do this?
So they claim that these monuments being removed are anti-racism or anti-Confederacy. Do you think that's true, or do you think that it's all about communism and really just attacking different institutions? And do you think they'll keep going after this monument, the Washington Monument, or something else?
Well, if you want to know what I really think, I have, you know, I'm willing to theorize conspiracies. I think that you're crazy. A person would have to be crazy to think there's no conspiracies in the world.
Right.
So you want to call me a conspiracy theorist, fine. But the thing about the communism, you know, I think Antifa is puppets controlling puppets, controlling puppets, controlling puppets. I think these kids really think that they're fighting off the orcs of Mordor or something. They really think that they're like, I mean, not all of them, but the college-age teenagers.
Right.
They think they're fighting off orcs or whatever, Nazis. But in the midst of them are these organizers
Right.
who literally go overseas and train in these communists, like Lindsay Ayling literally went to France and trained to be a communist disruptor.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a communist. It's communist in nature, but what's so tragic is how few people really get that they're just being used as puppets.
Right, and it's funny because over here you can see there's a big chubby guy over there, and he's actually a union operative. And then you have the green hats over there, and those people are National Lawyers Guild. And hanging back behind here, you can see the guys in the little sweaters. Those are college professors. So those are the people behind these operations.
Yeah, and this is pitiful. What they normally are able to do is get dozens, if not hundreds, of college students to show up. And those college students are just oblivious to what we're talking about that we know is going on. So, you know, to call this a communist uprising, I feel like it could lead to that, but at the present moment, I think it's desperation on their part, that that general will is not on their side. Because look at the numbers, you know.
But don't you think the far left is taking over the Democratic Party?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The activist left, and with these professors who are so subversive, do you think that the next generation will be even worse?
Well, I like to be optimistic, so I acknowledge that everything that you're saying is true. I just feel like when I look in human history at places like China, you know, a half a century ago, the USSR a century ago, they just had so much more traction. They had so much more momentum. Whereas here in America in 2018, it's just so pitiful. Like, you almost kind of feel sorry for these morons that they really think they're going to accomplish something.
Yeah.
So
I feel bad attacking them
I feel like
back.
what they're doing is they're just creating anarchy.
Right.
And that anarchy is just there's a corporate sort of criminal culture that just wants to feed the anarchy just to create poverty, really. They just want to create a desperate
division.
America.
Yeah, division more than
they
anything.
just want to make a desperate America. They know they're not going to get their communist, you know, tyrannical America. So the next best thing is to just burn America to the ground with anarchy.
Right.
And that's kind of what I think this is about. And
Yeah.
that these professors are just puppets being used by...
Yeah, it seems like the corporate elites or Fabian socialist elites, they're the ones who really control all these different movements. And they use it to disrupt people, distract people, take attention away from things like the national debt, and push agendas like socialized medicine, things like that, where they can have more control over the public. The internet censorship's another one they use to control the public, and they get people like this to make fake outrage so they can control people's speech online.
I would totally go along with every bit of that, and I just am grasping at straws as to what to do about it. So I see the problem. and I just don't see the solution.
No.
I believe that there is one. I just, in 2018, I'm so like bewildered at this point and politically exhausted, and
yeah, we have to just expose it for now. But can you just tell people again how to sub to your channel?
Okay, so there's 3 channels you can sub to. They're all kind of a joke, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm still learning. My attempt at serious commentary is Breakfast with Cody Gall. My sort of joke channel where I confront Antifa and do funny videos is Nash Bo Jr, Nashbojr. And then I've got kind of a backup channel, Luke the Terror.